It's a fantasy football owner's worst nightmare. You go draft a guy, you're all excited about putting him in the starting lineup, and then he ends up being a bust. We're looking at a few busts at the tight end position with our PFW fantasy expert, Mike Wilkening. And Mike, we're going to head to Seattle for the first one. Kellen Winslow hasn't been able to put up big numbers. Maybe a change in pace can do well for him, but you think he's still going to be a bust?
I just think he's going, from a Tampa offense, which I don't maybe like as much as the elite offenses in the game. I think he's even going a step further down in Seattle, where you've got an unsettled quarterback situation. He's not quite maybe the guy that he was earlier in his career from a movement ability and all of those things. I just think you can find guys with more upside in better situations.
Yeah, I think some fans might be excited about Seattle's offense getting better, and there's some question marks at wide receiver, so maybe he would be able to step up his game, but you should be a little concerned about if Winslow's available. Might want to look at some other options at tight end. Jacob Tamme is in Denver, follows Peyton Manning there. Remember, he had a pretty nice season with Peyton in Indianapolis a couple seasons ago. I think people know what Peyton Manning did for Dallas Clark stats earlier in his career, and they're excited about that combination, but you think they might be a little too excited about Jacob Tamme.
This just kind of comes down to name value of Peyton Manning maybe driving up the value of this player. And I'm going to need to take a few weeks to kind of assess how Peyton Manning looks in live action before kind of getting a sense as to how to maybe value the skill position guys. And look, I think Demaryius Thomas is a very good player at receiver. I think Eric Decker is a guy that can make plays. I think they've got some decent running back options. I don't know where Jacob Tamme is going to fit in the picture. I don't know if he's necessarily going to be Dallas Clark in his prime, and I don't want to take the chance at a position that's so deep this year, this tight end position. I think there are other guys I'm just going to take a chance on before I take a chance on Jacob Tamme.
And the other thing about Jacob Tamme is if they line up in those two tight end sets, ultimate touchdown vulture Joel Dreesen will be right next to him. And Houston Texans fans and anybody who's Olin Daniels before knows what Dreesen can do to your fantasy team. Our final bust is Dallas Clark. We mentioned earlier had some great seasons with Peyton Manning. He goes over to Tampa now to be their tight end. Can he return to some of the numbers we saw earlier in his career? You don't think so?
I think this is a name brand sort of issue. I think he's nearer to the end of his career than the beginning, quite obviously, and I just don't think he's maybe quite the same player that he was. There are so many young, good tight ends in the game right now, and it's such a key position in passing games. I think you're better off taking chances on younger guys with some upside at this particular position. And Dallas Clark, while he's accomplished a lot, not going to get points for his resume. I think you should look at some other guys before maybe you look at him.
Yeah, we talked about Rob Gronkowski, Jimmy Graham. Those guys could be first-round picks. You down the line, Vernon Davis. Plenty of good options at tight end. So don't wait too long and try to grab one of these guys because it might not work out well for your fantasy team. Check out all of PFW's fantasy content. Head to our website at profootballweekly.com.